Alright, today we're diving into one of the central questions of modern philosophy. How does Immanuel Kant respond to David Hume's skepticism about a priori judgments? In the 18th century, David Hume, an empiricist philosopher, argued that all knowledge comes from experience. He was skeptical of what we call a priori judgments. These are truths that we can know independently of experience, like mathematical truths or logical principles. Hume questioned if these kinds of truths could really tell us anything substantial about the world. For example, he doubted that we could truly know causation, like a causes B, without relying on repeated experiences. According to Hume, cause and effect was simply a habit of association in our minds, not something we could know with certainty. Now, enter Immanuel Kant. Kant agreed that Hume had raised an important issue, but he felt that Hume's skepticism limited the scope of human knowledge too much. Kant wanted to show that there are ways to have certain knowledge about the world that isn't purely derived from experience. So he proposed a solution that transformed philosophy, the idea of synthetic a priori judgments. Let's break that down. First, a synthetic judgment is one that adds new information, like saying the sum of angles in a triangle is 180 degrees. It's not just a matter of definitions, it tells us something new about triangles. And a priori judgment, on the other hand, is known independently of experience, like a basic mathematical truth. Kant's claim was that some synthetic judgments could actually be known a priori. So how does that work? Kant argued that our minds are not passive observers of the world, rather, they actively structure our experiences. He said that we have certain innate ways of understanding like space, time, and causality. These concepts don't come from the outside world. They're built into the way we think and perceive. For Kant, these innate structures allow us to make synthetic a priori judgments because they shape how we experience everything. Take causation as an example. Hume believed we couldn't know causation a priori. It was just a habit of observing one thing followed by another. But Kant argued that causation is actually part of how our mind organizes experiences. When we see an event, we naturally interpret it through a cause and effect framework, because that's just how our mind works. In other words, causality isn't something we learn from experience, it's something we impose on experience. Kant's solution to Hume's skepticism was groundbreaking. By proposing that our minds shape reality through innate structures, he argued that we can have real, universal knowledge about certain aspects of the world, like space, time, and causation, without relying on pure experience. This was his way of bridging the gap between rationalist and empiricist approaches. This concept laid the foundation for what we now call transcendental idealism, a central part of Kant's philosophy.